He was sparring this big boy, a heavyweight boy, and Tank hit that nigga. He hit him so hard that he was on the top of the rope just like this.
It allowed Jake Paul's brother to be in there and be able to last with a smaller man, a smaller, older, greater fighter who's mostly was concentrating on defense more than just offense.
Gervonta Davis is pushing his training to a whole new level, going to war and sparring sessions against heavyweights ahead of his showdown with Jake Paul. This time, he's not holding anything back. Davis has been trading punches with men far bigger than him, testing his power, his speed, and his grit. One session got so heated that the heavyweight reportedly looked stunned after Tank unleashed a thunderous shot that echoed through the gym.
Oh, no, you're right.
But tell people what happened.
Man, I was about to spar. Before I was about to spar Tank, he was sparring this big boy,
A
heavyweight boy, and Tank hit that nigga. He hit him so hard that he was on the top of the rope just like this. I'm like,
Gervonta Tank Davis is turning heads once again, this time by trading blows with heavyweight fighters in intense sparring sessions. Famous for his explosive power in the lightweight and super lightweight divisions, Tank is proving that size doesn't define strength. In recent footage, he's seen snapping off sharp, precise combinations that keep even bigger men on their heels. The way he controls the tempo, slips punches, and fires back with lightning counters shows just how focused his preparation has become. Every move speaks of purpose. He's sharpening not only his power but also his endurance, building the kind of resilience he'll need when he steps into the ring with Jake Paul.
Yeah, boy. Far in between here. Look like you're playing pool with a short stick. Far in between here. Far in between them. Punch me, he punch, yeah. Punch me, he punch. Punch me, he punch. Yep. They ain't stopped firing. We slowed down. Now we're going to commence firing again. That's what we do. We reload and come back. Yeah, you ain't got to get close, Tank, because we know you're scared to get close. Get close, Tank. Keep rolling, Cal. All the way down the road. Come to me, baby.
Despite the clear-sized gap between Davis and some of his sparring partners, Tank refuses to back down, choosing instead to test himself against fighters who outweigh him by a mile. These sessions aren't about proving dominance. They're about sharpening precision. Every round, he's mastering distance, controlling the pace, and keeping that signature explosiveness alive even under the pressure of heavier opponents. His team says this approach helps him fine-tune angles and timing, key ingredients for decoding Jake Paul's unpredictable style. Davis knows Jake's biggest weapon is his size, so by stepping in with heavyweights now, he's stripping that advantage of its power before fight night. It's a plan built on discipline, confidence, and the mindset of a man preparing for every possible storm once the bell rings.
Here's a clip of Gervonta Tank Davis releasing footage of him training and sparring with the heavyweight ahead of his showdown with YouTube sensation turned professional boxer Jake Paul that's set to take place November 14th in Atlanta, Georgia at the State Farm Arena. Tank Davis is 5'4" and he weighs in at 135. His last fight, he actually was 133 pounds. Jake Paul is 6'1" with a 76-inch arm reach, and he weighed in at 199 pounds his last fight. And fight before that, he weighed in at 224 pounds. Gervonta Tank Davis has a 67-inch arm reach. This is why this fight has to be ruled an exhibition and not a real professional boxing match, because no boxing commission would sanction it. Let me know what y'all think about this. As you see, Tank Davis is using and working on movement. Let me know. I'm gone. Peace.
Former UFC star and fight analyst Chael Sonnen hasn't held back. He believed Gervonta Davis is carrying the full weight of boxing's credibility into this fight. Sonnen said that, regardless of what Jake Paul has done to grab headlines, it's now up to Tank to remind the world what real boxing looks like. To Sonnen, this isn't just a matchup, it's a statement. Davis's mission is to prove that skill, timing, and years of ring craft still mean more than social media fame. Sonnen put it bluntly, Tank's job is to silence the circus that's followed Jake's career, not with words, but with punches. A knockout, he says, wouldn't just be a win. It would be a declaration, a reminder to everyone of what true, elite boxing still looks like.
Which is to let anybody know
that's listening that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skills, of which I am an abundance of and of which you have none of. My life's commitment and dedication versus a second or third or fourth thought in the world of priority on your list. And I used to believe those things. Now, I go back far enough in MMA that I've had my eyes open a number of times. The fact that karate was so incredibly useless, or the fact that Jeet Kune Do was so incredibly useless, like these were not things that I would have bet on when I was in high school. As a wrestler at that time, I would not have assumed that I would fare well in a fight against somebody that knew Kung Fu. We had all been falsely led through Hollywood. Not through competition, not through sport, not through understanding of the game, but just through Hollywood. We were told that those guys were the most dangerous guys. So, we then eventually get up to Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather, which had a weight discrepancy, but it was very small. I mean, I watched him weigh in. I want to say it was like 8 pounds.
As fight week approaches, new footage and reports confirm that Gervonta Davis has been going toe-to-toe with heavyweight fighters in camp. And these aren't light sparring rounds. They're full-on battles designed to push Tank past his limits. His trainers explain that the goal is simple: make the Real fight feel easier by surviving tougher wars in the gym. The heavyweights force him to stay sharp defensively, move his head faster, and find smarter ways to unleash power against bigger bodies. With every round, his confidence grows, proof that even against stronger men, his timing and precision can level the playing field. It's an unconventional strategy, but one that's working, and it shows just how seriously Davis is treating Jake Paul, not as a spectacle, but as a real opponent worth preparing for. Renowned boxing trainer Teddy Atlas has added his voice to the conversation, calling Gervonta Davis one of the most powerful and skilled fighters in the game today. Atlas explained that while some fans are focused on Jake Paul's size advantage, that edge fades the moment the first bell rings. He believes Davis's experience against elite competition gives him a depth Jake simply doesn't have. Tank, he says, has seen it all: counterpunchers, pressure fighters, tall opponents, slick defensive masters. Jake, on the other hand, hasn't faced true boxing veterans yet. And for those wondering, what if Jake lands one big shot? Atlas says they're missing the real story. Davis's gift is adaptability, the calm and precision he shows under fire, and that, according to Atlas, is what separates a real fighter from an entertainer putting on a show.
Do have one guy who, yeah, he's smaller, but he's a top fighter. He can punch, and he's fighting a guy who's not a top pro fighter, who's bigger. What if he hits him on the chin? What if he hits him on the chin? It'll wind up selling. And that's what'll wind up selling it. The what if. What if Tank makes him do a cha-cha? He hits him on the chin, and Jake Paul, we're going to find out if he can dance. Whoa, 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 whoa. You know, do the cha-cha. That's what's going to sell it. And you can't argue that what if. You can't. I know I get to places that other people won't go and everything else. They just dismiss stuff because it's easier to do that. It's safer to do that. You don't have to bows and arrows coming at you from people that argue with you because you did that. But I don't care. I've had bows and arrows my whole life. I don't care. But that's true. That what if? What if this guy who is a real good puncher, who is one of the best fighters in the world right now, what if he hits him? What if he makes a miss and he counters him? Or he jumps up in the air, bang! And he hits him. Sid Terrace was a great fighter. No, not the 1700s, but years ago. And Cus D'Amato told me he loves Sid Terrace. He said, Teddy, he used to jump up in the air and hit you with 3 jabs. I said, whoa, man, Sid Terrace. All right. Anyway, look, I can't finish without saying that it did invoke some memories and thoughts that we've been here before in a different way, where Jake Paul's brother fought Mayweather. That's not forget. And I'm not saying I like that either. I mean, first of all, Mayweather was past his prime. He was already retired. He was older, everything, but he's still the great Mayweather. And Mayweather was fighting a guy, what was it, 50-pound difference, 60-pound difference, whatever it was. And that size made a difference. It allowed Jake Paul's brother to be in there and be able to last with a smaller man, a smaller, older, greater fighter who's mostly was concentrating on defense more than just offense.
Sports analyst Max Kellerman shared a more personal perspective on Gervonta Davis's mindset, suggesting that Tank took the Jake Paul fight not just for the spectacle, but for stability. After years of relentless training camps and championship battles, Davis wanted a fight that could deliver both excitement and a financial cushion, something that would let him step back and spend more time with his family. Kellerman revealed that Tank has been thinking about easing his pace, focusing more on balance, peace, and life outside the ring. To him, this fight isn't just about business. It's a turning point, a spectacle that lets Davis enjoy the fruits of his hard work while still reminding the world that when those gloves come on, he remains one of the most dangerous men in boxing.
You got a guy like Gervonta, who I personally think has been checked out for way longer than this last fight. I think he was checked out prior to the Roach fight. I thought this was all going to be in the works, where he was supposed to beat the 16-1 Roach and then go on to fight Jake Paul and then call it a career, because I think the people around him understood there wasn't much left in the tank for him in terms of his want or his desire to be here. He did an interview with Dan Canobio about 18 months ago where he was like, yeah, man, I just kind of want to raise my family. I don't know how much left of boxing for me. I don't want to see a therapist. I want to, I need to, but like, I don't want to take away from my fighting. But I think it's time for me to do stuff like that. So I think the writing's been on the wall for Tank for a while. So that draw was kind of just like, I was on the way out anyway. I don't need to go back in there. And I said it at the end of that fight. I'm like, there's no way we see that rematch. He was so uncomfortable in that ring with Roach. He doesn't want to feel that again. He showed that night. So I'm not surprised that fight's not happening. I'm not even surprised he's fighting Jake Paul now. It's a catch.
During the press tour, analysts Chris Mannix and Sergio Mora couldn't help but point out the stark contrast between the two fighters. Jake Paul, ever the showman, played his usual role, loud, animated, and magnetic, using his charisma to stir headlines and drive hype. Gervonta Davis, in complete contrast, stayed calm and distant, almost indifferent to the noise around him. Mannix noted that while Jake knows how to sell a fight, Davis knows how to win one. Mora added that Tank's silence isn't a weakness, it's a sign of focus. Both analysts agreed that when the lights dim and the talking stops, it won't be words or antics that matter. It'll be Davis's precision, power, and pure skill echoing louder than any trash talk ever could.
And even though Jake Paul tried to egg him on and try to goad Gervonta Davis on, he's dealing with somebody that is not a quick-witted, thinker. He's not a quick-witted speaker. Tank Davis is explosive in the ring. He's fast and powerful in the ring. He's charismatic inside the ring when he's punching. But when you put a microphone in front of him, he's not articulate. He doesn't know how to quickly respond to people. He stutters a lot. He does more stuttering than talking. So Gervonta Davis in front of a microphone is not going to sell. So Tank Davis shouldn't be put in a podium like that. He should have speakers for him. He should have someone talking for him. He should have a mouthpiece. Tank Davis is not going to sell this fight. And Jake Paul knows it. That's the reason he kept throwing jabs at him. He tried to get Tank out of his shell. Tank's not quick verbally enough. He's not quick-witted. He's not quick with the tongue. So in order for him to sell this fight, he's going to have adversary that can spit something back. Like, for instance, Chavez Jr., he didn't have that quick-witted response, but he had the backing, he had the loyal following. And Chavez Jr., like many Mexicans, don't need to speak because they do all their fighting in the ring, and people know that. Tank Davis, I don't know, man. People, he didn't look good in his last fight. He's not fighting the killers in his division. People are getting off that Tank train, and we know that he's had his issues outside the ring. The love's not there anymore. Tank Davis is losing a lot of passion, a lot of followers, and people aren't buying this circus that Jake Paul's trying to sell. And I'm glad that people are getting off this train. The commission in Georgia got off this damn train. That's why they had to move this fight to Florida, where anything can happen.
Former world champion Tim Bradley offered some behind-the-scenes insight, revealing that Gervonta Davis didn't have many options before agreeing to fight Jake Paul. Bradley explained that Tank originally wanted a rematch with Lamont Roach, but those talks eventually fell apart. With limited big-name opponents available and mounting pressure from promoters, the Jake Paul fight quickly became the most practical path forward. Bradley admitted that while some might call it a risky business move, it also guarantees massive exposure and a huge payday. He pointed out that fans often overlook the hidden layers behind these deals. Management decisions, scheduling conflicts, and broadcast politics all shape what happens next. Still, Bradley's confident that no matter how this fight came together, Davis will seize the moment and remind everyone why he's a world-class fighter through and through.
You know, I do. I'm not making no excuses for Tank at all, but this is just my perspective, man. Tank had no other choice but to do this fight, man. He had no other choice. You know, he was in training for that Lamont Rose fight, and, you know, then the covers got pulled off, you know, and then this fight came about. You know, this is an inside thing, man. I swear, man, I'm telling y'all, this is an inside thing. You know, this is something that Al, PBC wanted Canelo to do, you know, because this is how they eat. This is how they gonna eat. This is how they gonna recoup, you know. As you know, PBC, they got no legs to stand on, man. You know, money going out, not enough money coming in. They got to spend their own bread, you know, for everything, you know, for everything. So, you know, they need money coming in. And their guy, Canelo, left. He with Turkey now. They wanted Canelo to do this fight. And now Tank is obligated to do this fight, man. Again, to save PBC. I promise y'all, man. I'm telling you. You know, Tank was already signed up to fight Roach rematch. He was already signed up, you know. You could just tell, man. I can tell, you know. Yesterday, listening to the press conference, I saw, like, I don't know what it was. It was something with Jalen Love, and it's like a secret. I don't know what that is. It's a secret, though.
After the press conference, fans started wondering if Gervonta Davis was truly locked in for the Jake Paul fight. Many noticed his calm, almost distant demeanor, the quiet stare, the lack of reaction to Jake's constant jabs and showmanship. Some took it as laser focus, others read it as indifference. The clear size difference between them only fueled more debate about fairness and how competitive the matchup really is. Many expected Tank to fire back with words, but instead he stayed cool, composed, almost detached, maybe saving every ounce of energy for fight night. Those close to him insist the silence isn't a sign of disinterest at all. It's his mental discipline at work, a way to stay centered, refusing to waste focus on theatrics that won't win the fight.
Jake Paul legitimately cooked Gervonta Davis in that press conference, and I really don't know how to feel about that. And to be honest with you, I still don't understand how boxing even allowed this to be made. Like, I don't. Like, dog, this is not an overstatement. Like, literally one of the core pillars holding up boxing is, like this literal, like, fake superiority complex that they have over literally every other combat sport. Despite literally being the least effective main combat sport there is. Brother, kickboxing, Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, brother, I put judo over I put boxing. In terms of practicality of combat, oh yeah, 100%. Brother, if Jake Paul makes it competitive against Gervonta Davis, I'm looking at this like, brother. Oh, well, weight difference, brother. Gervonta Davis has been training his entire life. I'm sorry, bro. Like, it's bad enough that the fact that if this was under any other combat sport, this would literally be like one of the most one-sided matchups of all time. And it wouldn't be in favor of Davis. No, dog, if you did this under an MMA rule set, oh my gosh, bro, Paul cooks Gervonta. It's not close at all. Like, round one finish level. Like, understand this, Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul is taking place in literally the only combat sport where Davis should win. I'm still shocked that they allowed it to be made. Because, like, there's no upside. If Jake Paul beats Gervonta Davis, now we're kind of looking like, wait a minute. What? Like, brother, don't forget. I still think it's a horrible look that Tyson Fury couldn't finish Francis Ngannou. That is so bad. Well, Francis Ngannou's a great boxer. Francis Ngannou, no joke, is one of the worst boxers to ever be in the UFC. He just has absurd power. No, look at the technique of Francis Ngannou. It's not that good. It's carried by power. Like, going into it, like, I'm hyped, but it's also, I'm looking at this like, bro, Gervonta has to finish, bro.
While Jake Paul has often been accused of exploiting boxing's traditions, some critics have started shifting that same scrutiny toward Gervonta Davis. They argue that by agreeing to fight Jake, Tank might be feeding into the very influencer boxing wave he once spoke against. Fans who hope to see him chase elite contenders feel let down, saying this matchup feels more like a show than a legacy fight. But others defend his choice, reminding everyone that boxing has always danced between sport and spectacle. For Davis, it's about taking control of that story, proving that even in this crossover era, real skill still rules. If he dominates Jake Paul, the narrative could turn on its head, silencing the critics and restoring balance between the hype of showmanship and the art of true boxing.
Jake Paul is not the problem with boxing. Tank Davis is. Jake Paul's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. He's a Disney Channel kid, YouTube star turned boxer. Of course, he's going to make these stupid spectacle matchups. He doesn't care about his career, his legacy, or the sport. Meanwhile, we have Tank Davis, the heir apparent to Floyd Mayweather and Adrian Broner, who has real talent. And if he was actually consistent in the ring and was willing to get in with some of the best fighters in the world, he could be top 3 pound for pound best fighters in the sport. But instead, Tank just wants to hold up his division for 5 years and make a mockery of the sport, especially with this fight.
That's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned, because the next one's coming with even more fire. Until next time, stay locked in.